All right, what's up, guys? My name's Grix, and welcome to the Views podcast with your co-host Joey Legit and our beautiful, brand new guest, Orlo. What's up,
Thank
dude?
you, thank you. What's going on? I'm very excited to be here. I watched it every week so far, so glad I can give my input on some stuff.
Dude, that
Good.
was the best. That was the best. Getting an introduction and
Mm.
then, um, you know,
No pause or anything? Yeah.
everybody else is just like, yeah, you was good. Welcome to the podcast, man. Glad to have you here. One thing that we're gonna start off with, we're gonna be talking about different things as usual. We're gonna be doing our player of the week. Think about it for now, and then we will, figure out who we're gonna pick and why. But we're gonna start off with one topic, a recent topic that happened yesterday. A pretty big fight on Twitter. Between it was a number of people, but really it was Littlefoot and then it was Instinct. I'm gonna give my kind of idea of what happened in it. As you know, I'm the owner of the Voltage and captain is Instinct on the organization. You guys could give your little input because same thing as you guys, I wasn't really part of it. Like I didn't really know anything about it until like this morning. Then I started reacting to it. But do you guys want to open it up or do you guess want me to do it?
I can open it up. All right, so yesterday it was Littlefoot and Dylan's team. They were scrimming each other, and this is when I heard from Dylan. Dylan told me that after, like, in between one of the games, Brandon went into game chat and Brandon said like stuff about like Dylan's aunt and all this stuff, and then I guess Dylan came back on Twitter, and then they started going back and forth on Twitter. But Chris was the one who told me that Brandon never said anything in game chat, and Dylan instigated it on Twitter originally. So I don't really know who to believe at this point because I might have to talk to both of them. But Dylan's saying that Brandon started it, and there's no evidence of it. No one clipped it or anything from anyone's streams. But I guess everyone's saying that Dylan's lying at this point because none of Dylan's teammates agree with him. Everyone's saying that Brandon never said anything in game chat about his aunt.
Yeah, I mean, I just saw it on Twitter, and everyone was talking about it for a good like hour or two, and that's literally all I was seeing in my feed the whole entire duration. So I personally, me and Instinct are great friends, and me and Littlefoot are really good friends also. And it was really weird that someone like I know Instincts is a great guy and everything. It's just some things are better left unsaid, and especially like we're all like we play a video game competitively, and to bring someone else's like really personal life, yeah, that was like really deep, and the way he went about it, definitely out in public like that. I was kind of disappointed in him a little bit. It didn't, I mean, didn't really change my view on him. I still think he's a great guy and everything, but I think he just kind of made a big mistake going about it like he did. And now that everything kind of died down, he did take a lot of heat for it, and he made some tweets afterwards. But I don't know.
Yeah. So the way that I kind of got into it was it was yesterday night, I believe. It was around like 9 o'clock to like 11. It happened between then, like you guys said, they were scrimming. Something happened in between game, and then it just kind of went onto Twitter for some reason. But something that I really disliked about the topic overall was that I was getting DMs talking about like, oh, drop Dylan, like blah blah blah.
Yeah.
He's not, he's showing disrespect to the org. You gotta, do what you would do if anybody else would do it and try to get them kicked. But here's the thing, and one key event that happened a while ago was with Littlefoot when I did play him in the game, beat him, and he ended up talking about my friend that died recently, but false really advertising it as a suicide. As everybody knows, suicide is no joke. It's something that, you can't really just joke around with it, and he did exactly that. But here's the thing that I see about the two topics that are like, it's hard to say, but one, Brandon was the one to expose his own family for all these things that they've done to him. So if anything, it shouldn't be Dylan's fault for really, hollering it out, because it's something that Brandon himself has put on Twitter with the video of his dad yelling at him and then him talking about his mom a lot. Secondly, getting him kicked from Voltage is kind of something where, Littlefoot getting a kick from Apollo, obviously, for talking about my friend that died when he said it was a suicide. It's something that, if it didn't happen to him, I'm not going to take it, too far. But it's also a thing where I feel like Instinct could have took it into better hands and, have a little more maturity with it. But, we're all players. We have those kind of times where, our anger gets to our heads and then we kind of blink out and just say whatever. I've been there, same situation. And then, like, the next day you really forget, like, all the nasty shit that you said before.
I'm going to have to disagree with that one part because you said that Brandon shouldn't put it on Twitter. I mean, like, I understand, like, maybe he shouldn't have put some stuff on Twitter about, like, like that personal about his life, but I mean, he has, like, every right to, but the point, like, Dylan shouldn't have said anything at all. Like, if anything, Dylan should have, like, been the bigger guy there and said, like, I'm not going to say anything on Twitter. If he's going to say anything, he could have gone to call with him and say, like, don't say that shit about my... If he did say anything at all, even in the first place about his aunt in game chat. Because I got DMs from Chemicals saying that in game chat, the only person who said anything was Chemicals himself, and he was just saying that Dylan's a kill whore.
Yeah.
And Dylan went on Twitter and said that right away.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I feel like he should have took it in, his own hands to say something better and not really come out with that much heat. But like I said before, same kind of thing that happened. Brandon is someone that has done that countless times, even to me. So, karma has to come back to him. He knows the pain to have it, and we all have these kind of, real life situations that we don't like getting outside of kind of our Twitter, our gaming. And, once it comes out, it's something that really hurts. So, if Dylan heard about his aunt, it's going to really demoralize him. If, Brandon hears about, like, consistently, like, even friends, too, like, people that you play with, like, if they're over here, like, bashing on Brandon's family, it's something that hurts. If, someone's bashing on my friend that passed away, something that hurts. But in the long run, it's really karma. I feel like Brandon really deserved to have this kind of heat put to him just because of what he's done, like, in the past. But, at the same time, it's something where, it happened to, like, it escalated too quick because it was talking about games and it got to this, like, this is why your parents, did this. So I feel like it could have approached better, but like I said, Brandon has done it before. And so now he kind of knows, like, how it feels.
Yeah, I agree. Like, Brandon, like, he never should say that stuff about, like, Dylan or your aunt. Like, he does that on Twitter a lot. He even said, like, I'm known for making fun of people's, like, dead relatives and shit. But either way, like, people should just be, like, the bigger guy and say, like, I'm not gonna say anything back. Just say whatever. Yeah. Like, just don't reply saying stuff about Brandon's family.
Yeah, like, let him be the guy to really get that kind of heat to himself, make him look worse. But, at this point, I just feel like it was something that Dylan really said out of the blue. Because, like, and we all know, Dylan's, like, generally, like, he's the type, like, he's such a positive guy. Like, to hear that is something crazy. Yeah. Like, it's happened before where I've heard him, like, in Discord say it, like, funny stuff or, like, little things. But that's how he is. But, like, just say something to blur it out like that. I can honestly say I think Dylan had, like, some sort of, like, something to trigger him to really say something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really have too much to say on it because I was just kind of like a bystander. But I just started on Twitter and whatnot. But I don't know. Littlefoot, like Legit said, is known for saying stuff like that. And I think that, I mean, I don't personally take him seriously. I can't after everything he said about people. But if it gets to you, like it got to Dylan, I guess that's kind of what happens. And he kind of just blurted out what he thought, I guess. And he got a lot of heat for it. So, I mean, that's all I have for this. So.
Yeah, that's one thing about that. Like, everyone gets heat for saying something about Littlefoot. But if someone says something about when Littlefoot gets shit, never gets shit, though. Like, Littlefoot will say something, let's say for Joey, never really got that much backlash for saying stuff about Joey's friend. And then yesterday with his aunt, no one said anything about that. But Dylan got fucking slammed. Because I guess I just don't think it's fair that Brandon gets kind of away with it at this point. Like, I understand, like, nobody really I don't even take him that seriously anymore. I see his tweets. I think they're kind of funny at times. But I feel like he never gets backlash. And when someone says something about him, he just kind of throws a fit.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's also kind of something in the matter of that, you're really that kind of player that is known for doing all this, and at a sense, I feel like he just doesn't really care about it, but he does have to realize that at times, he gets to people, and maybe he triggers the wrong person. And as you guys know, like we're literally in the same venue of 100 gamers. Next, like literally anything can happen in a split second, dude. Like people just gotta realize that things like that can really trigger someone and get to someone's bad spot. And I mean, just overall, like if they're watching this, anybody watching this has that kind of really, I guess the backstory of what happens to your family members. Like I'm sorry to hear it. It's something that everybody has to go through. But it really does suck how people take it to Twitter and expose you for it because it's something that it happens in your personal life. Like you're known as your gamer tag, legit Forlo Griggs. You're not known as your actual like name, like your actual identity, and like once it kind of comes out, it's something that really hurts.
Yeah, I guess this would be a good transition, I guess. But we actually, like, as we were looking for a new player for our team, Littlefoot actually asked, to run with us and stuff like that. And, our owner, Fresh Kid, he didn't even let us run with him because he knew that he didn't want him under Soul because he would give the org a bad look. So that's kind of what reputation he has just from what he's done in the past.
Yeah, he should probably really think about that. At points, like he's literally making such a bad rep for himself that orgs aren't going to pick him up anymore. Like that's kind of bad.
Yeah.
And then it also gets to the point where he kind of has the backstory as well to be blurred out. So if he's going to keep on talking about other people, he has to realize that his story isn't as fairy tales and happily ever after. He has a hard life, and I guess that's why he takes it on other people. But he doesn't realize that now it's outside and people can use it whenever they can, and it's going to be used in this future. It's been used before, but this is like the one thing that like everybody has been involved in. So, I mean, any closing statements?
I believe so. On that topic.
Yeah, I definitely. That's all I've had to say about that.
So, I mean, we could transfer to the topic that Hunter brought up about Soul. I want to just say right now, congratulations for picking up Gunsy. He was my player of the week last week. And he's an amazing player. I want to hear your thoughts. Like, how did it happen? What did you guys think? And how comfortable are you guys feeling?
So we first, when our previous member, our fourth, Aerox, couldn't go, looking for a fourth, we played with Mocon, and everybody knew that we were picking him up and everything, and we ran with him for about, I'd like to say like 3 or 4 days or so, and we did pretty good. Obviously not as good as we would with our original fourth, but we did fine. We scrimmed a lot of the teams that are going, and we won almost all the maps. But he plays a lot like one of my other teammates, Mom or Justin, in the sense that they both use different guns. Mocon with the NV4 and Mom with the K-bar, but they both like to play themselves and roam around and stuff. And when we had both of them doing that, the last two, which was me and Aces, we couldn't really play the objective how we wanted, and we were losing maps to teams that we've never lost to before. So we actually ended up, it was a really hard decision. We ended up actually letting him go to pick up Gunsy, and Gunsy wasn't a free agent at the time. He was on a team with Scruzzer and Nacho and Outside, and we would scrim them all the time, and Gunsy always stood out to me. He was always a great player and really tough to play against, so I knew that he would fit our team really well in that aspect. But he was on a team, his teammate was giving him a ride to ETG, so he couldn't even leave if he wanted to. And then, so we stuck with Mocon for like another day, and then he found out that Andy Mongi could actually drive him to the event. So once that was finalized, once he left his team, we picked him up right afterwards. We literally picked him up, and we've never ran with him before, which was a really risky move. But I just knew in the back of my head that he was going to be good for us, and we scrimmed probably, I'd say like one night. I'd probably say a full like 7-game series of scrims, and that was it in the last like couple days. And then you know, obviously we had the tournament yesterday, but I'll get into that afterwards. But so far he's been doing great. He's fit our team really well. I think he was the player that we were looking for. And the time that we had to look for a fourth, there wasn't like instantly a standout free agent. So that's why we had to start looking at who was on teams that hit us up. Because I had, I'm not gonna say any names, but like I've had literally up to 10 players or so that were on teams already that would DM me asking like, "Hey man, like consider me for your guys' fourth," and it kind of shows like, you know,
how unloyal people are.
Yeah, especially in this community, it's crazy. Like it was really eye-opening for me, because usually the rosters that I'm on are really long-term, and I never make roster changes that much. But seeing it come from other teams is like really, really weird. So yeah, we picked up Gunzy. We've been doing really, really well. I think that we have about 20 days or so till ETG, so we don't have that much time. But in the short time that we've had, we've already accomplished a good amount of stuff and beaten a lot of really good teams that were actually made off of this whole roster mania and stuff like that. So feeling good so far. I think that we're gonna,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah. I mean, I think we're the placing that we have in our head that we want to get to. It hasn't changed after all of these changes. The core three, me, Mom, and Aces, we can really play with almost anybody and kind of adapt them to our play style and have it work. So I'd like to hear what you guys think about this whole thing. And I know you guys know Gunzy really well, so you're probably excited that we picked him up. But what are your guys' thoughts on this?
All right, real quick, my thought about this kind of thing. I heard from a couple players. I don't know if this is true because I haven't been watching too many of your scrims.
Yeah.
I heard that you guys are losing more uplinks than usual with Mikey on your team instead of Aeroxer.
Yeah. So we haven't even gotten to play that many uplinks like since we picked him up, because it's been kind of recently. In the past couple of days we picked him up, and we've honestly played a total of, I'd say, 6 uplinks or so in that span, and I think we've lost one, and it was our first night of scrimming, so that's to be expected, obviously. But we don't sweat when we lose. We don't sweat it because it's actually good for us when we lose maps, because we just bounce back even better. But we played this tournament yesterday. We didn't drop an uplink in that entire tournament. I think the team that we ended up losing an uplink to, I don't even remember who they were, but we're still kind of feeling each other out. So we have a lot to practice, and I think that our uplink game is still going to be as strong as it was before. I actually think it's probably our best game mode as of now. So, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that someone told me ETG it's going to be hardpoint, uplink, then search. So
What?
yeah, so uplink being the second game mode, because they put it
That
on
would be crazy.
yeah, they put it on their website actually. So it's gonna be hardpoint, uplink, then search. So we've never played search before except for yesterday in the tournament that we were in, and so having that map set would favor us completely, because we're already
It's our uplink team, yeah.
Yeah, so it would be like really nice to have that be that middle map for us to, if we lose the hard point, we can bounce back in the uplink, win that, go to the last map. So hoping that that's how it stays. And then I believe losers bracket is best of 1 hard points up until semis, which would be awesome. So yeah, I think that the more we practice and stuff, the better we'll get, obviously. But we're still in kind of the honeymoon stage of our team. So definitely in the next week or so, we'll be able to see what our strong points are and stuff.
But you guys won that tournament yesterday, right?
Yeah. It was an A2A. A2A Events was hosting it. I forget how many teams exactly were in it, but it was like a $55 prize for first, and there was some really good teams in there. Intuitive with Radiant, I think Joe, Reality Breen, Toxic. It was a really good team on Intuitive. We had Apollo's new team in there with Outside, which we'll get to in a bit. But we had Apollo. We had Mocon's new team after we let him go. He made a team. and we'll also talk about that afterwards. But that team was in there, and really, really good teams. Some teams in there were, in my opinion, better than us, and we had to just clutch up in certain game modes and stuff to be able to take it. We ended up winning the tournament. We went all the way through winners, and then won. We had at the end in the finals, we were able to get 2 best of 3s if we lost the first one, because we came out of winners bracket. But we actually just won the first series, so we didn't drop a series the entire tournament, which felt good. And we faced some really, really good teams, which felt good because we just picked up Gunsy, so it was really good practice for us, and it was a good format going into ETG and stuff.
I'm really glad you guys won that tournament yesterday with Mikey, especially since he's your new fourth, because I guess the last event he really wasn't that confident in his roster going into it, because I'm guessing that's why he didn't go off as much. But now that he's won with you guys, and especially since you guys are like high caliber players, I feel like he's really confident with you guys. You guys can really get a good placing out of this.
Yeah,
yeah,
go ahead.
Sorry, man. Mikey's always been that kind of player to, like I said before, really stand out when he has his team. Now that he has 3 players that is most likely the biggest standout, like tier 3 players. Having 4 players really stand out on one team is just so dominant. Knowing that, like you hear you're gonna play Soul, you're gonna be like, all right, shit, we're going to losers bracket. I mean, it's something. Or even if they get into losers bracket, damn well Soul goes to loser bracket, and a team's like, oh, you guys are playing Soul next. All right, yo, let's pack our bags, let's get it. It's really something where 4 confident players in one team, they win a tournament, the first first really tournament back. And I can honestly say, I don't know how it is with Tanner and you guys. I don't know if it was really good terms that you guys went off on, but I maybe feel like the roster got like for the best. Tanner's not able to go to the event. You guys are able to pick up Mikey. Mikey's able to really debut himself again, make himself that kind of T9 player, but now even maybe like T3, T2 player that everybody knows that he can be, and I'm excited to see him at this event.
Yeah. I think that he even told me that he messaged me, after the tournament last night, and he said he was like really excited. He actually thanked me for picking him up because this was like the most confident he's been in his team ever. So it was good that he feels like that, and that's how I want, obviously, all my teammates to feel. And I think the point that you made with Tanner, towards the end of when he was teaming with us, he didn't want to get on and play. He didn't really try and practice. We were losing maps to people that were just not better than us, and so it's good that we had a new 4th instead of him, and then that 4th being Mikey, who has a really big drive to play and win and get on every day. And I think that helped us because it gave us kind of a reality check because we were beating a lot of teams, but then whenever we lose, even if we play a 7-game scrim against a team and they take 2 maps off of us, like that team is going to, like, it's happened before. They post the screenshots on Twitter and stuff of them beating us and stuff, and like I don't really take it to heart because it's like whatever, man. Like we know we're the better team, but there's a lot of teams that are like just wanting to like gun at us. You know what I mean? So it's good. Like the point you brought up about teams hearing that they're playing us and stuff. That's something that we definitely use to our advantage because we want to instill fear in people. We want to just completely demolish them online so that when we go to LAN, if they hear that they're playing us, like instantly they know, like, all right, we have to play at our top game or else these guys are going to run over us. So that's something we actually use definitely in our advantage. I think that our team's only gotten better with Mikey because he's so he has the drive to win, and that's just like, it's exactly like me. So I'm glad that he's with us, and he kind of just motivates our team to do even better than we did before.
That's really good. So since we're on the topic of your team, and you guys just had a roster change, let's talk about some of the other roster changes that just happened.
Yeah.
All right, so we can start with, I guess, Bet Supremacy. They dropped Formula for Stangs. Opinions.
Generally, I've already kind of talked to the roster. I don't see this roster making it to this event. One thing being, Stangs is a player that has always been on a roster, but yet has never had, been to an event. I've teamed with him. Hunter has teamed with him, and he's that kind of player that everybody is gonna. He's not known, but I can generally say he's kind of like no throwing shade, but he's kind of like a Jazzful, like really talking about going to lands and blah blah blah. When it comes to the land, he doesn't start attending. But if he does attend, the roster is going to be pretty good. I feel like dropping Formula for Stings didn't really make a change because Formula's the same as Stings. They're pretty much the same kind of slay role. I heard that Formulas just didn't like Shifty, I believe.
That is true.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's something that Shifty's known for, his teammates not liking him. But, no, the team's going to be really good. It's another thing with Shifty, going to these events, not getting what he wants. Now he has the team to really debut himself as, a really top player. And I'm excited to see their team play as well.
Here's the thing with that team. Like, okay, so he gets along with Josh extremely well now, and him and Critter, like, basically were considering each other as duos for a while. Like, they get along really well. I was watching their scrims, like, Formula. It just, like, it wasn't even really so much Shifty. It's just, like, Formula was always calling him out for stuff when he was, like, basically he was making mistakes himself, and he was just calling Shifty out for him all the time. It was only them not getting along. They were still winning, but they weren't getting along. That's not really good for the team. They picked up Stang. I mean, yeah, they picked up Stangs. I was watching them scrim literally just now, and they were laughing, having a good old time, beating Nick's team 16-1 in the fucking uplink. Like they didn't give a shit. Like they were stunning
He's in the background. He just knows that he's on the podcast.
Yeah. I played against this team. Actually, the first time I played against them, the new roster of Stangs was today, but I was subbing in for a different team. I've played with Stangs for a while, and I know that he's one of the best players that I've been able to play against or play with. And the thing is that I'm questioning is that Formula was a really good MV4 player for that team. The reason being that they let him go or whatever was obviously like he didn't like Shifty and stuff, and then towards the end of their like team or Formula teaming with them, I saw that his performance just completely dropped. Like when we first scrimmed them as a new team, they were doing really well, and especially Formula was doing really, really well against us. And I thought that was a great pickup for them. And then towards the end, when I think him and Shifty started having like their disagreements and stuff, he kind of just fell off as a player in my eyes. Like we were just ripping through him, and it wasn't even like he was the same player as he was before. So I guess that's a good change for them. But they do Stangs and Formula plays two completely different roles. Like Formula is a main NV4, and Stangs almost always uses a K-bar from what I've seen. So I don't know how the team's going to adapt to that. Maybe they'll have to switch some roles. But I'm hoping that they can do really well. Me and Crit, we're best friends. We've been friends for so long. So I want him to place really well. And I know that team's going to be pretty good. I agree with Legit about Stangs and not going to the events and stuff. But I think that if he does go, then yeah, they'll definitely place really well. And as long as Stangs performs the same as he does on land, because he's really good. So I'm hoping that he can carry it through, and hoping that team can place really well.
Okay, so does Littlefoot? Go ahead, Joey.
I was just like quickly, just because the Views podcast, we enjoy a little bit of starting beef. I'm gonna give you this match. Your team versus Shifty's new roster. Map count on LAN. Points maybe on hard point. What do you think you're gonna beat them on?
All right.
Just thoughts.
Okay, yeah. So for the best of 3, and it goes hard point, uplink, S&D. I'd honestly say we'd win the hard point, 250 to I'd say 180, and then
they put him in the. They didn't even make him 200.
Yeah, it does definitely depend on the map because we're really strong on some maps, but also they're probably strong on some maps also. So it does depend on the map, but I'd say 250 to 180, and then an uplink. Just from hearing that they're like a good uplink team earlier, I'd probably say it'd be a really close game. Usually when it comes down to the wire and uplink, we clutch up. So I'd say. Of course, everything depends on the map, but we'd also take the uplink. We win 2-0, and we win the uplink. I'd say 10-7, and then we win the series 2-0. They go to losers, and they make a run in losers, and then But yeah, I think
Wait, is the uplink official for the second map?
I'm pretty sure that's what they said on their website. So
It is. It is.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
and that's a good thing too, because you're going off a respawn to play another respawn. So it's one team has the advantage because they had that kind of respawn blood.
Yeah.
Already playing, and then the other team that lost maybe like by a little bit was like, all right, we haven't been slaying as much. Let me pick it up in this uplink and then win it.
Yeah, I think
So
it's gonna be like really, really good having SND as the last game mode because it makes for just insane games. Like if you go last
Yeah.
map with someone, like that SND is gonna come right down to the wire. And when you win an SND last map, whether it's round 11 or a blown out game, it's like it gets crazy when you win last map SND. So I think that's a good decision by them to have that like that.
Yeah.
And also, but I kind of feel like as well, it gives a lot of advantage to teams like Seoul, really strong on their respawn. But at the same time, like I said, it gives those kind of like nail biting experiences when you're at that last map 5-5. I've been in that predicament, and it's really hard, but it's really exciting. But yeah, EGG as well. I can't wait for it. There's gonna be a lot of amazing teams. One team I actually want to talk about the roster change is Aerial, or yeah, Aerialistic. My bad. Their new roster, as we said, Mokon was released from Seoul to join them. They picked up Austin Keys, SK, and then Minucci. Basically, their old roster, but they've replaced Spry with Austin Keys. I think that roster is definitely the best that they can get right now. From everybody that's free. That's the best option they can get. Obviously, they dropped Starkey and Aries, or something happened. I think Mokon ditched and then got back. But I feel like at the same time, he got a better roster overall with his picks.
I think that we played that new team in the tournament yesterday. They played us really, really close. We ended up going the last map in the tournament was an uplink, so went hardpoint S&D uplink. So we lost the first hardpoint to them, and I was having a really bad map. That's probably why we lost, because we played them really close. I think we lost by less than 50 points, but I was going wicked negative, so it could have been different. I was doing good, but the second map we won the S&D, and then we went to the third map, and it came right down to the wire. I think we only won like by 3 points or so. So they're a really good team, and I love playing them because I love playing like really good competition. So I'm excited. I'm really, really excited to see what they do on LAN, and hopefully we can match up against them.
All right, so another I guess roster change. Does Littlefoot have like a stable roster right now or no?
No.
He's just kind of running around and playing.
Okay, because he did leave Apollo, and he I think outside joined, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Outside joined.
I see no difference. they're the same player.
I feel like Littlefoot's a better player overall, just in my opinion.
But attitude-wise, I feel like outside fits better, and also I feel like Apollo itself, outside is an amazing player, but we have heard that he isn't that good on LAN. The whole fight with Mikey and Scruzzer and them, they were really talking about how Scruzzer got costed, how in somewhat I agree, but at the same time, outside, when he puts really his, effort into the game and goes off, he's that really high caliber player. Because I've seen him at March 4th, he was doing good. He's kind of a weird player if you've ever seen how he plays, but it really fits for him as a player because you don't know where he is on the map, you don't know what gun he's using, but I feel like Apollo, like I said again, they got the best option that they could get right now for free agents. The roster, I just kind of feel like it's the same. Maybe not skill-wise, but I mean, Littlefoot's, no offense, but the guy's replaceable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you really just gotta play an aggressive AR and actually drop more than 30 kills, and you're basically Littlefoot.
Yeah, I think that from what I've seen playing them, I haven't gotten to play the new Apollo roster yet, but I feel like honestly they play different roles. Like outside, he uses an ERAD on some maps, other maps he uses a K-bar. I've never seen him use an MV4 before, whereas Littlefoot, MV4 was like his preferred gun. So yet again, like another team that picks up someone that doesn't really fit the same
Same
role
role,
as
yeah.
the last person, they're gonna have to figure out like who's running the main MV4. Because honestly, on that roster, I have no clue who would run the main MV4. I mean, I always knew Littlefoot as being the main AR. So now that they picked up outside, and he's always, I see him using an ERAD half the maps that he plays. It's gonna be kind of weird how they adapt. They did good in the tournament yesterday in the A2A tournament. I think
Fifth place.
yeah, they beat Intuitive 2-0 in the first round. And Intuitive went on to get double first rounded, which was complete. I thought they were gonna be in finals with us, honestly, because they're a really good team. So that was weird to see that. But
oh my bad. It was Kevy, Reality, Radiant, and Toxic, right?
yeah, and they're always. I mean, individually when I play them, they're always really good. So. But I think that new Apollo team is like I kind of agree with Legit. I think that they're gonna stay the same skill level as they were before, as long as they adapt to how Littlefoot was. So it's fun to see Apollo at the events. You know, they're always a big org there. Then a lot of people knows who Apollo are. So I'm just hoping that they have a good placing, because I don't think they placed that well at the last event. I don't remember exactly what it was, but.
Yeah.
All right. So, what? Any other roster changes?
AJ moving to Voltage.
Yeah. Oh, I'll take it from here. All right, Voltage Esports, as you guys know, an amazing organization ran by like amazing owner. No, but overall, I'm really excited to have AJ. I've teamed with him on LAN. I know his skill. And it's kind of something where they couldn't find their core three couldn't find the fourth. We really talked about Josh leaving them. I believe we talked about Josh leaving last week and them picking up AJ. And I feel like AJ was a lot better of an option. I don't want to throw shade, but he's more consistent. He works better for them. He's not really that attituded player like Josh. And also, they don't really have to worry about him leaving because he was getting sketched on a lot. And, so it's like he doesn't want to get sketched on, and they don't want to get sketched on, and then they're not going to sketch on each other. And, and if you guys are watching, jerseys are locked, boys. You guys leave. Nope. These jerseys are already ordered for them, and I want this roster to go and perform. Amazing roster going to the event. And I can't wait to see what they're going to do.
Yeah, about that roster, I feel like they're a lot more comfortable with AJ too. 'Cause I was listening to them scrim, and then them saying also like they feel so much more comfortable with AJ. They never fight with AJ either. Like having AJ as a teammate's like I think really good for them because they never fight like mid scrim or anything. And he's good as shit. I saw him carrying them some of the maps.
Yeah, I've never gotten the opportunity to play with AJ really, but I've obviously talked to him in person at the events and stuff, and he's a really chill guy. He's like one of my favorite people that go to the events to hang out with and stuff. So it's always good to have those vibes in the team, and have like no toxic players that just will rage mid map and stuff like that. You always want to keep the vibes good if you want to end up trying to take maps off people. So AJ is definitely a good pickup for them, and that's another team that I'm really excited to play because I think they have a lot of potential.
Yeah. All right. I don't think there's any other roster changes. I don't think so. Yeah. I mean, Domestic's a free agent right now, isn't he?
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't even know if I follow him on Twitter.
And then we also have Nick losing his org. You guys saw that on Twitter like 2 days ago, right?
What org was he under in the first place?
Yeah. Do you know what org Nick was under?
I mean,
Monarch.
Oh yeah, Monarch. Yeah.
Okay, so
anyone know exactly what happened there?
That's I kind of have like a sense into it. Basically, they wanted they wanted Nick and another player to get dropped for Starkey and Ares, and then they didn't want to because they already had their team of 4 that was consistently playing, so the org dropped them. I worked with the owner of the organization, and I can say he's a really unprofessional, piece of crap. I don't like the guy. He left after we left Saint. He was really attacking our players and personal life stuff. And he just doesn't really know how to work an organization. No throwing shade at him, but like I said, I work with him in business. He can't even fund. So I feel like they're gonna get a better org for this event, and they're a really good team. So I have no doubt that they're gonna get a pretty decent org to sponsor them.
Yeah, it's hard to find orgs nowadays that don't do that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? It's like it kind of sucks that some orgs are like that, but it's good to see like Joey, the one that you run, Voltage. Like that's a great like you run it really good as far as that I can see from the outside looking in, and people that make those types of decisions to drop their team and stuff like that over like roster changes and stuff. I don't know. It's kind of weird that people would do that. But hey, you know what I mean? If it's a bad look on their org, they did it to themselves. So
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, any closing statements, any teams you guys could think about, or we could get to the players of the week.
Be the players of the week.
yeah, the only other thing that I wanted to add was that I think there's like I don't have much to say about it, but there is like a new team of three. I think it's Scruzzer.
Scruzzer, Stark, and Aries. Oh, they're gonna be good.
Yeah, it depends on who they pick up as their fourth, but as long as they pick up like a decent player, you know what I mean? I think they're gonna be really good.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, so that's the only one I could think of.
Yeah. All right, so I guess we could go to the players of the week. Do you guys have it? Do you guys want to think about it? I can say mine, and then you guys can take a little bit more time. Damn, I had to think of it. Okay. I think for this week, I definitely have to give the player of the week. Honestly, I gotta say to Mocon, because with everything happening, with his roster, he did sketch. I understand, he did sketch his roster, but he, going back to Seoul, he showed people that he has that capability. It didn't work out, but then he kind of gave him back, and still made a good, the good roster for the event. And I feel like overall, he's always had a dominant roster. I've never seen him on like the bottom of any kind of team he has. He has a team. People are like, okay, this is a team that if we face them, it's going to be a really, really good match, or they're going to blow us out. So, I definitely going to give it to Mocha.
Okay, yeah. Austin, do you know what yours is?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to honestly it's not biased, but I'm gonna have to go shifty on this one. I wanted to do him for a couple weeks. I didn't want to go biased with it, so I had to choose like the next guy up. Here's my reasoning why. So I would be sitting behind him, watching him scrim, and he'll be like, "I got two," and then he's like, "One's gonna about to push this lane," and then he'll call it out. He'll get another one. He'll like, and he's always slaying out for his team. Like I guess he's really trying to stick with every roster. Like, I don't know. Every time I watch him play, he's always dominating. He never loses his gunfights. And when he does, he gets shot in the back by Nick on uplink.
Yeah.
But no, like, I feel like he's like, I don't know, like, after knowing him for so long, like, just knowing that he literally went from playing S&D online, like, once a week to, like, 3 weeks before an event goes to it, and basically carries his team on land. Like, he's never, like, okay, from someone who's never played on land to go in and they're, like, right away, usually online players aren't as good on land. But going from shifty, just never playing on land, to going on like just going to land, he played fantastic. Every single game I've ever seen him play, he's at the top, and he's basically carrying. He's always going positive. He has hill time. I watched him like I guess when he lost his first game ever, it was like when he took like a 90-point lead, getting pieces of hill, and his teammates weren't doing anything. Like no offense to you, Joey, but like. I was watching and like he was dominating everyone on land, and on land he really well in scrims.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know about you, Joey, but I mean, towards the end it was lagging a little bit, but I understood. I understood what he was saying. Okay. So I was actually going to do Mocon for mine because of everything that he went through, and still being able to bounce back and have a really good team, but. My second choice was Gunzy, but he was last week's, which I heard about. So now, I'll be real with you guys. My player of the week is gonna be Aces from my own team. I know it's gonna sound like, I'm biased, but I honestly think that he's the player that wins us the games the majority of the time. He does all of the work that nobody. Wants to do really on the team. Like he obviously plays the hill, and he's the one that's always working the ball and stuff and moving it up and uplink. And I think that also he's always really he does criticize us a lot for what we do wrong, which is good because nobody even really knows him as a person. So he's kind of just this like secret person that nobody knows until you actually meet him or talk to him. But he does win us most of the games, honestly. And I think that, I mean, he's been with Seoul for so long. He's only been to, I think, one other LAN besides this upcoming ETG. And he plays second at it. So he has great potential. And I think that doesn't get enough credit, honestly, for what he does for our team. Because he's always the one that literally will get 2+ minutes in He'll get like the dunks, you know what I mean, an uplink. Like sometimes he carries the bomb and search. Like he does all the stuff that no other player would really want to do for their team, and he does it really well. So I think that's the reason I got to give it to Aces on my team, and I couldn't think of anyone better to give it to, honestly. So that's who I'll go with.
All right, awesome.
All right.
Okay, I guess, any closing statements, you want to add on?
Austin, you got anything to say? Any closing statements?
No.
All right. Anything? Let's see. So
I guess we can talk about placings, with these new rosters.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely agree. Okay. So does anyone want to start? Do you want me to start?
Joey, you can hear me, right?
Yeah, you're gonna.
Joey.
Yeah. Just
okay.
Just turn off your webcam. It might be lagging a little bit.
I talk about placings with. Here's what I want to talk. I just want to talk about placings with the new rosters. We basically went over every other team.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's fine.
So we'll start with Bet.
Yeah, your mic is okay. You're gonna maybe.
Okay. Let's see. I'd honestly say, I mean, there's like 55 teams or so going to ETG, so I'd honestly say that they could, if they all play to their full potential, just giving that every team we state plays to their full potential, I think that they could honestly place, I'm giving them a top 12, I'd say, overall, which out of, 50 something teams is still really good. I just think that when it comes to the really like high caliber teams and stuff that go there, that always place top 3 every event and stuff, they might have some struggles with them. So it depends on the bracket, but I'd give them top 12.
Yeah.
I disagree with you on that. There are some high caliber players that they don't get to scrim, and I feel like they're gonna place top 8 on this.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Any other rosters?
Let's see. Apollo's new roster we can talk about.
Yeah.
Joey, if you want to go first on that, I'd like to hear what you think.
I think, they've always been that kind of top, I can say top 16, top 12 team. And like I said, they really haven't changed anything. So I can say top 16. Yeah. I think that's just kind of something where, personally, like that's the placing they've really gotten from this LAN event. I think they got T5, but that was really necessarily an easy bracket that they had. I can't really say that. Like, I don't want to say no egotistical way, but they had a pretty easy bracket. But if they can match up T12, if they kind of have an off event T like 16 to T20.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'd honestly give them. I'd probably say. I'd have to give them top 24, honestly, because they're gonna with Supreme on that team with Outside. The more that they team, I feel like those two are gonna like butt heads and stuff if they start arguing. And I mean, they already do. The Apollo squad is always like that team that for like bickering and arguing with each other. And if they go down in a series on LAN or they even lose like a winners round match, I don't know if they'll be able to regain. And it does obviously, like Joey said, depend on the bracket. But I'm gonna have to stick with my top 24 prediction. Austin, what are you thinking?
I'm gonna have to. Okay, I don't know. I'm kind of stuck between 16 and T24. I don't know because they really seem like they do go off on LAN.
Yeah, it does depend. I mean, Littlefoot was like pretty hype on LAN, and now that they have Outside,
and hype is a factor. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe if Outside can match that, then maybe they'll place better and prove me wrong. But you never know. So I'd like to hear what you guys think about my roster with with Gunzy and stuff, and if it changed or anything.
I don't think it changed for me at all, to be honest with you. I feel I still wanted to go with like T, probably T8, T6.
Yeah. And then what about you,
'Cause I
Joey?
don't know, Mikey's still like a great player. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from him. Like, he's not saying that Aerox is better or anything. Like, anyone that on your team would, like, I don't know. I feel like with Mikey, you guys could probably even do better. Because, yeah, on land, it feels like, it's not counting the last land because he wasn't comfortable with the roster, but, like, overall, like, on land, it feels like he really does clutch up and he can really do good for your team.
Yeah. I mean, if we're kind of talking about placings for Soul, I could say T3, T2, and that's not even a way that I'm like trying to flex to you guys. Like, you guys, like, besides the pro teams that are actually going, like, if there is any, you guys have really matched up with a lot of teams going to this event. And I think honestly, the only roster that can really shut you guys down at this point is, you know, AMs or if a pro team goes, which is like,
Yeah, overall,
it's
like, in our community, you guys are an intimidating roster. So if you guys go against them, they're already shook once before they even play you. So once they start playing,
Right.
like, it's just gonna go downhill from there.
Yeah.
and like no pressure, Hunter, but you know your organization is known for getting T2, T1.
I
So,
know,
I mean,
that's
hopefully
what I'm
you guys-
saying, dude. It's like,
Hopefully you guys can keep that, like, you know, even T3s, like getting T3, like maybe they can put it in their roster, in their bio. You know,
yeah,
it's something that
it's hard, man, because my best placing at any event, with any roster is like top 8 through top 12 or whatever it was, and something always happens to our teams. You know what I mean? Like the one event that nothing happened with our roster and we went as our full roster was early IW when there was like the skinny bot, OSA, all that weird stuff in it, and we still ended up placing I think top 8, top 10 or whatever. But
Jeff's favorite character.
yeah, Jeff did rock that. We let Jeff use the OSA and skinny bot, so I mean that was a bold move by us. But anyway, this event, I think that of course, less than a month from the event, we had to make a roster change, which kind of sucked because we've been teaming for like 3 months before that. But I think that I don't know. I think that we'd be able to do like what you predicted. The thing is, half my team, like Mom, he's won an NJ Raw before. And then Aces, he's came second. So like these guys like are known for being really good and like placing really well. So I have a little bit of pressure on me to like not let them down and like keep up, that thing that they've been doing. So I hope that I can, and I think that as long as we play our game, I think LAN is like completely different from online. I understand that, but it's just better bullet registration and better connection on LAN. So our gun skill, like we're all known for having pretty good gun skills. So on LAN, it's going to be favor us even more. And I don't know. I'm hoping that we can make the org proud and stuff. And I think that whoever goes up against us at ETG is going to have me yelling at them because I'm going to get wicked hyped. So I know that for sure. But
yeah. I mean, any other rosters you want to talk about?
Nothing
I don't know.
particular, to be honest.
Hey, so we covered. I really didn't hear the first. What team did you guys cover first?
That's Supremacy.
All right, so Supremacy's roster, and then we have Apollo and then Soul. I think predictions for Aerialistic and predictions for the upcoming Scruzzers team. I think we could talk about those two, and then we could be good with the placings.
yeah, I think that Aerialistic with like Mokon's team, like if they all play good, I honestly see them placing at least top 8. I think they could even break like top 6. So they're like a really good team, and team should watch out for those guys because they played us really well yesterday. So
Yeah, and I don't know their old. I think they got T8 on the last event, and it's decently the same roster, same thing. Keys and Spry are pretty even in match. So I feel like they can repeat what they did at NJ and get T8. So I'm gonna give them T8 to T6. I mean, Austin, I know you really don't know them as a team, but kind of knowing
I
them
really
as
don't
like
know. Yeah, I'm gonna
individuals.
agree. Yeah, I don't really know them as a team at all. I really haven't been watching any of their scrims at all. But based on their last placings that you guys are talking about, and basically it's the same roster, I'm gonna have to maybe T9 through T12.
Hmm.
Yeah, I can say that as well. So that's okay. And then Scruzzer, Aries, Starkey, and to be determined.
Yeah. Whoever they pick up as their fourth, as long as they match up the same skill level as them, I'm gonna have to give them. I'm gonna say I'm stuck between top 12, top 16, because Scruzzer's he's a really good player, and I know that he didn't have the greatest of teams last events, but he's gotten double first rounded with like a team that people thought would at least do like well. So he just has to prove people wrong, I guess, because people know him for getting bad placings, and then so actually I'm gonna give them top 12. I think that they'll get that, but I think once they break top 10, I don't know if they'll be able to match up with like a lot of the teams.
Yeah, I can say top 12 as well. Scruzzer hasn't really got that kind of placing that he really wants in a while. And then Aries and Starkey, definitely two players that can also place better than what they have. And I think kind of putting them both together, I could say top 12 to top 16. But if they do get a pretty good fourth, I think top maybe 8, I could say 8 to 12. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I see them like at the last event, like they're like a top. They're like a, I guess, considered a top 9 roster right now. If they pick up a decent fourth at least, I don't know. I could see them getting top 9.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely fair. All right, will be interesting. I'm really excited for ETG. See where everyone goes.
Mhm.
Where everyone places.
Absolutely.
I mean, ETG is so big that, especially it like not over a year. I think it's actually going to be exactly a year since the last ETG. So this event is big for everyone in the community, and it's going to be your placing at this event is going to be talked about for like months to follow. So
Yeah.
everyone's going to be going hard, and I can't wait. I'm super stoked.
I think we covered basically everything that we needed to talk about.
Yeah. I mean, do you guys have any closing statements? Anything you guys want? Any other topics, or we can end the podcast here.
I don't got much. I just want to say thank you to everyone supporting the podcast and everything. It's cool to see this actually a thing. You guys are committed to it, which is nice, and I love watching it every week. So I hope you guys continue to do it and stuff. So I was like wicked psyched when you guys said that I could come on it. So I was glad to give my insight and stuff. Yeah, with that money, So
yeah, dude, we need you on here.
I appreciate it. The support that I don't know, man. I also want to give a shout out to my org Soul, because I've never been under an org that has so much support behind it. Like I was just kind of brought in, you know what I mean, from orgs that were like not even known to an org that like everybody knows. So it's kind of crazy, and I just want to thank everyone that supports my team and stuff, and that's all I gotta say personally.
All right, awesome. I think we're good. So hope you guys enjoyed episode 3 of the podcast. Thanks to Hunter for coming out and giving a little bit of word. I can honestly think this is probably our most successful podcast. I feel like we got a lot more talked about.
We got a lot of topics in here, and in fact, we got like a player that everyone knows in the scene, like on here to talk about. I guess I definitely gassed them. Okay, one of the bigger reasons, if anyone's wondering why, I had a lot of players lined up to be on the podcast before Hunter, but I feel like he brings a lot more to the podcast because he gets to really give his. I feel like the last couple players haven't really got to like express their real feelings about everyone, but like he's talking about like every single roster and what he thinks and how they're gonna do. Like it just feels like he did really well. That's what we brought.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, 100%. Well, oh, sorry, my bad, Hunter.
I was just saying I play against everyone, like most of all these teams, so like it's just easier for me to give my insight on the teams and where I think they're gonna do.
Yeah. All right. Well, awesome. I hope you guys enjoy. Leave a comment and subscribe. Make sure to also, show some support. Retweet whatever. Follow us on our Twitter. Views the podcast.
Yeah.
Yes, on our Twitter. We're gonna be doing a lot more. I guess, well, really keeping it active on our Twitter. So you guys are gonna be able to get some intel on new people. You guys are gonna be seeing a lot more on different, I guess, podcasts that we're gonna be having in the future. And hopefully we end up doing something at ETG. I think that would be pretty awesome if we figure something out to do. But like I said before, make sure to subscribe. We've been really low on getting subscribers, and we want to still have the best content and make this something that we can put, I guess, our attention into. But we're definitely gonna be doing it weekly. So make sure to go next week on Wednesday. Check out the new podcast. I don't know who's gonna be on it, but I think that'll be pretty awesome. And see you guys later.